guys, welcome back to my channel.
Jazz hands.
Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. As you can see, my sister Chrisalys is here and she is about to join me for another review video. Actually, if anything, she is more important than I am because she was the one that really wanted to see this movie. She was all about it. She literally dragged me against my wall to go see the movie. I don't regret it because at the end of the day, it kind of worked out a little bit. We were having this whole discussion. Normally, I'm like the movie enthusiast. I'm very passionate about film and television. It's something that I want to pursue one day, hopefully professionally. So I'm very passionate about it, and I'm always the one like very insistent on movies and let's go watch this specific movie or let's do this or the third. But this time around, she was the one like, I want to see this movie. She literally saw the trailer and there was a scene, one specific scene that Leonardo DiCaprio did, literally lasted like 2 seconds, and because of that she wanted to see the whole movie. So we went and saw the whole movie, and now we're here doing a review. For those of you that have not been paying attention or have not read the title or the disclaimers or anything like that, or before we start, spoiler alert, we are about to review Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. It was directed by Quentin Tarantino. It was his 7th film, I believe. He is an amazing director, very creative. His movies are very different. They're not like your typical everyday what you see all the time. This movie specifically is starring Leonardo DiCaprio, Brad Pitt, Margot Robbie, among other people, but those are the three.
Margot really is so good.
Yeah, she's beautiful. But those are the 3 main characters of the film. The whole story kind of revolves around them. We went to see it yesterday. We were going to do the review right after we got out of the movies, but things didn't work out that way. But I just wanted to make sure that we got on camera and did it before we forgot and before, you know, anybody really stopped caring about the movie. So if you guys, I always say this disclaimer, if you guys do not want to be spoiled, you don't want to know, you don't want to see it, you're not obligated to see the video. But if you want to know what's went on, or you already saw the movie and you just want to sit here and discuss it with us, then for sure continue on. You start because you kind of like, you're the one that really wanted to see the movie. So summarize a little bit what the movie is about, or like what the movie was about, because I really remember, but I still don't know what the movie. I really don't remember what the movie was about though. Like
it
what
was about,
really about?
It was about him, and it was about other people too. Like first of all, he had a stunt man, which is a stunt double, whatever.
So okay. So who's he? Leonardo DiCaprio.
And he was a badass.
Leonardo DiCaprio was like this big Hollywood actor, like in the late 60s, early 70s. And
no, he was falling off, remember?
Okay, so but that's what I'm saying.
He was a big actor, I guess, in the 50s.
In the 50s, in the golden age of Hollywood, yeah.
Yeah, and it was the last year, so he was trying to make it memorable. Well, he wasn't really trying to make it memorable, but they were telling him that he was like, you know, bitch, you was a has-been, you feel me?
So he was trying to like, yeah, exactly, kind of claim to fame again and kind of stay relevant.
I said good name.
Yeah, but true, stay relevant. So Leonardo DiCaprio. So now we're late 60s, early 70s when the movie's taking part, and he's kind of going through like, he's falling off. He's trying to like stay relevant, getting little jobs here and there. And Brad Pitt plays his stunt double, who's been his stunt double probably his whole career.
No, his his show.
Since Bounty Law, that was the name of the show that Leonardo DiCaprio was in the 50s that made him like a household name. Well, at least the character that he played in the film. So Brad Pitt he was his stunt double, but they were kind of like best friends at the same time.
Yeah, because he was his driver.
And they were always together. Yeah. So it just, that was their dynamic. And then their next door neighbor was Margot Robbie, and I guess whoever her husband was, I cannot remember his name right now, who was like a big director, right, producer, whatever. Yeah. So that was them. They were kind of like the other story of them, because even though they were all in the same movie, it was
all about Hollywood.
It was separate stories. Like Leonardo was one life, Brad was another life, Margot was another life, but they were all neighbors, and they basically literally met like towards the end of the movie. So that was kind of the background. There's really like, I watched it and I don't know what the plot in reality truly was. If anything, I would say it's just about this man who was like Chrisalys says, Chrisalys. I'm gonna say Chrisalys because in Spanish it's Chrisalys, but you know, for everybody else, Chrisalys, but I call you Chrisalys, so Chrisalys. Like Chrisalys was saying, it was kind of like he was falling off. He was becoming a has-been, and he was trying to like, you know, kind of keep his little whatever fame and job and dignity he basically had. So that was his journey throughout the story. Brad wasn't really getting any stunt double work just because there wasn't a lot of action going on for DiCaprio's character that would have him be the stunt double. On top of that, you find out later on in the film, he was actually a war veteran and he was accused of murdering his wife and he got away with it. They never really truly went into it a lot. Yeah. So it was just kind of like in the open plot storyline.
So we're going to assume he killed
his wife and got away with it. Because that's what was told to us and that's what we're going to go from. He meets a hippie girl and, you know, in the movie... That bitch was crazy.
Yeah,
you kind of think that they're gonna like, I don't know, like fall in love, have a little romance or whatever the third, but then it ends up being like something completely out of the blue, which we'll get into more detail later. Yeah. She, Margot Robbie, she plays Sharon Tate, and you kind of get to see her. I guess she's starting her career.
She was a hoe.
Yeah, basically,
she
had a fiance and then she went to do a movie with another guy and she ended up marrying that guy. But then now her ex-fiance and all of them are good friends. You kind of see her like sneaking into a movie theater to see her movie. Like I guess she's just starting to become really famous. So you kind of get to see her like getting excited about everybody recognizing her work and stuff like that, which I'm pretty sure a lot of actors do. And even to this day, like people who are super popular, they probably like, you know, they go sneak into the movie theaters just to kind of see the reaction of the audience. And you see her being pregnant. And then you don't really see her a lot. You just see like little snippets of their life. And then towards the end, everything goes... I think like the last hour or if like anything like the last hour to 30 minutes of the movie are the best part of the whole movie, which is when everything breaks loose. Oh, hell goes down. Everything really wraps up for you. Kind of like any action in the movie. Going from there... What do you think? Did you like it? Options, thoughts, comments, anything in between? You already know how this is gonna get, so go. You like it? What did you like the most about the movie? Like, what was the thing that really called you?
Oh my god, girl, the end. And the ending when the guys came, when the two girls and the guy, they get to the level, came inside the house trying to rob them or kill them. Actually.
Did you think the movie was good?
Duh.
Do you think the storyline was good?
Yeah, I know what was the purpose of it. That's why. So I feel like it's a very good movie. I think you should watch it because, bitch, I laughed and I'm pretty sure you will laugh too.
I'm gonna say overall I did enjoy the movie. It wasn't my favorite. It wasn't, you know, like, I liked it, but I didn't love it, if that makes any sense. Like, I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, it's horrible, don't watch it, it was a waste of time. Because it's not. It has really good parts. It has really good scenes. I mean, Leonardo DiCaprio and Brad Pitt can do no wrong. Like, their acting is always on point, no matter what. Like, I think anybody really that knows acting or them knows that already for sure. So I'm not even gonna be mad at that. They did really good. Margaret is gorgeous. Margot Robbie, she's beautiful. So wherever she stands, she's always gonna be beautiful. So that's that. But like I said, I'm still confused. I really didn't. I mean, I get the concept of the story, but I didn't really get what was the purpose of the storyline. Like, it was just... There were moments, like, at the beginning, everything was okay because the movie's starting. It's kind of explaining everything to you. The characters, you're getting to meet everybody, see people where they stand, who they are, what they're about. But then towards kind of like a big chunk in the middle, everything starts to be very, like, and die down. I literally fell asleep for, like, 30 minutes, probably.
I was tired as fuck.
It was like, I don't know. There were certain things that just dragged on that were really irrelevant. And then, like I said, towards the middle to the end, that's when it starts picking up again. So you're like, okay, I'm in again. So I'm not saying it was a terrible movie because it wasn't, but it wasn't my favorite either. No, like there were some things that were missing for me.
Character, he was a brat. Like he had mental breakdowns. Like he was going through a bitch. Like
he was your true Hollywood diva.
He was crying. In the car, remember the Valerie, he was like, and then his stunt double was like, don't cry for that Mexican's
Don't cry for the Mexican.
And he bitch, and that guy was in the car while he was in the dashboard.
I guess he was having a nervous breakdown, and he got in the car and he didn't realize that the ballet was still in the car.
But he was still like,
he was breaking down. Leonardo did it. I think his character was like the funniest thing in the movie. That's what kept you like, okay, because he was hilarious. He was funny. Brad obviously did his thing always. He was actually pretty funny too, you know, towards the end when he's like, "Are you real?"
Oh, yeah, when he was on acid.
Oh, so yeah. Okay, so quick backstory.
Yo, the 60s were crazy, bro.
Yeah, you think so?
They'll pick up any random person to give them around. Like, who you? I don't know who you. Right? You got gas money.
You have gas money. Is there hitchhiking? I don't think they have gas money.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Which is, I think, let's say that's one of the positive points. It did, you got to see a lot of the 60s, how it was. Like,
yeah, their style was really
their style, just kind of the lifestyle. It was pretty authentic. It wasn't an over dramatized or anything like that. But it was, you know, like, authenticity to me, especially in film and television, is so, like, key point. So I appreciate that. I think that's why I say it's not a horrible movie, because authenticity-wise, scenery-wise, and acting-wise, everything was there. Because, I mean, you have amazing actors. They were there. Quentin directing, amazing. I just feel like the story itself, there were some parts that it didn't make any sense to me. Like, I don't know, it just, maybe I'm seeing it from another point of view, or maybe I'm just not as well-versed as I thought I was. But it wasn't my favorite. I'm not going to sit here and say don't go watch it. But just know, to me, it wasn't my favorite. It had a lot of good scenes. It had a lot of good moments. But there were just a lot of things that were missing for me. You know, like, I don't know. There was just a lot of things that were missing in the movie. And I feel like towards the end, they kind of, like, put a lot of, like, action and intensity to just kind of, like, get you, like, all jumble-dumble in there. But there were still a lot of elements that to me were like a lot of storylines were just like left open in the air, and you're just like, you're following a lot of stories as you go, and it doesn't really have one, you know, besides Leonardo, who was pretty much the whole entitlement of the story.
Exactly. So that's all we care about.
Yeah. Scenes worth mentioning, key points. What were your favorite scenes? I mean, obviously this is a super spoiler video, so I have like 3 that I remember that I really, 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 really like. Those were like, oh man, like, this is it for me, bro. I know you like the stuttering scene. I guess he is stuttering.
No, when he forgets his lines.
He forgot his lines. So then later on, he goes to the trailer
where he's like, oh, something about the pipe. It's like the piper boy or whatever, to bring her ass in here, piper, whatever. And he stuttered or whatever.
And he got really upset. So when he went back to the trailer, he was like very hard on himself. And what was he saying?
He kept talking after that. So funny, like the trailer part. It just on a little part.
But the whole scene itself was hilarious.
I bitch, I had to wait because I had to pee.
She literally stood there for like an hour.
I waited until that scene
just so yep, that's how passionate she was about it.
I was really constipated too. So I could not pee. I couldn't pee.
I didn't know there was constipation for peeing, but okay.
There was another bitch in the stall, and I guess she whatever, because after she peed, she literally stood there, and I stood there, and it's so quiet in the bathroom. It was just us two. You just hear me breathing, and you hear her breathing, and then you hear me like, I'm trying to pee. I'm standing up, then I'm sitting back down. And he cried, so because he was saying that he was a has-been, and he was but he told me the fucking truth. But, and he had like a little, like a cowboy accent, so it was just like, bitch.
Wait.
Like, I can't take you serious right now.
Yeah, he was too funny.
And then...
And he wasn't even an a-hole. He was just... That was just how he was.
When that Chinese guy and... What's his name?
Oh, Brad Pitt.
Yeah,
okay.
what was his character's name?
I have no idea. We should probably look this up.
We did not come back.
I know Sharon Tate was Margaret Robbie.
Rick Dalton, that was
the character of Leonardo DiCaprio. No, Rick Dalton was the stunt double.
No, it wasn't.
It was Leonardo.
Yeah,
it was Leonardo.
Yeah.
And then what was the name of?
Since you're gonna cut this part, we're just gonna search that once.
Upon a time in Hollywood. Cliff.
So his name is Cliff Booth.
And he was a stunt double.
Yeah, he was fighting
So they were on set because Leonardo DiCaprio's character was on scene, and Brad Pitt was, you know, kind of waiting to see if he had to do any like action scenes that day. And there were like, I guess, other stunt doubles waiting in their little like area where they wait. And there was this Asian guy who I guess was one of the stunt doubles.
I said Chinese.
Well, Asian, you don't want to offend anybody. And he was practicing for his lines, or, you know, he was talking a lot of this, you know, he was like,
big mouth.
He was the best fighter, he was this, he was that, and, you know, Brad was just, and, you know, Brad was very cool, chill, he's minding his own business, he was laughing at him, but, you know, he was like, he wasn't looking for any trouble either. He was just sitting there chilling.
He even said it too. He was like, I don't want
any trouble. I'm just,
you know, came to do his job. And sit.
But the Asian guy, he
like,
really, he kept, So Brad was like, okay, cool. Okay, let's go.
So the first,
go, you say.
He kicked him the first time.
And Brad was like, okay, cool.
That was good. Like, okay.
That's good.
Do it one more time. Nigga threw him to the car. That's what he did. He threw him to the car. Let the whole dent on the door.
He slammed him against the car. He's like, fool me once, enough twice. That's what I'm saying. He threw him. He slammed him against the car. That was pretty funny. I also liked, so the hippie girl that we were talking about previously. He finally, because he would see her all around town, and she would always ask for a ride, and he would like, no. He's like, hey, peace, but he would kept driving. So that day he kind of was like, okay, sure. So he took her on a ride, like he was going to take her to wherever she was staying at. And it's funny because I guess where the hippies were staying used to be a ranch where they used to shoot a lot of that, like the movies back in the day, which turned out to be where they would shoot Bounty Law, which was the show that they used to start in a couple of years back. So he was like, oh, you guys live there, blah, blah, blah. He's like, I used to know the owner there. And she's like, oh, yeah. I guess he didn't realize what was going on till he got there. The hippies kind of took over the whole place, the property that belonged to a guy. And they were kind of using him to be there. Like, he probably didn't even know that all those people were staying there and what they were doing. So when he gets there, Brad kind of starts to scope like the place, the people, and it's just, you know, I guess they didn't really like hippies back in the day. At least Rick and Booth were not messing with the hippies at all. So he was just not having it. He wasn't feeling it. So he was like, oh, I want to see the guy that owns the land. I know him. I want to say hi to him. I want to make sure he's okay. So everybody started acting very suspicious, very funny. So, you know, Booth was not afraid. He kept pushing. He kept going. So he finally goes into the house. And for a second, you kind of think like the guy is dead or they did something to him. But he's pretty much there. He's pretty much alive. And Brad is kind of like, oh, I just wanted to make sure that these people are not taking advantage of you. I mean, you can tell the guy's not in his correct mind. He's probably like under medication or God knows what they were giving him. So Brad leaves and he kind of like, he looks at them like, okay, I'm gonna come back. He goes to his car. They stabbed his car with a knife, the tire, so it popped. And the guy is sitting on the bench laughing, you know. And Brad is like,
oh, because they're all laughing at him.
Yeah, they were all laughing. They thought, they thought they were funny. They thought that they did something, right? And Brad Booth, always cool, calm, and collected. And he's like, oh, you did this? Okay. Come, because you're going to fix it too. He literally goes to the trunk. He pulls out the spare tire. He gets like the stick and whatever you have to use to like take out the tire. He throws it on the floor and he puts to the guy, come on, you're going to do it. Let's go. And the guy was like, what did he say? F you or some stuff? And Brad was like, okay. Brad beat the ish out of him. And then it's like, do my tire. And the guy was like, can I at least go wash my face first? Like, bleeding. No, can
you at least give him a ride to the hospital? Bitch, out of here. You got me to fix this tire.
He said, oh, you know, he either said, can you, like, give me a ride to the hospital? Can I clean my face first or something like that? And Brad was like, no, the tire.
He said the tire first.
Yeah, the tire first. So he got his tire fixed and he left. All the hippies were kind of mad and all looking at him like, oh, revenge, whatever. Which later on, they kind of did try to go get revenge. And that's when everything gets extremely hilarious.
Yeah, because he smoked an acid dip cigarette
that the girl gave him. She was like, I'll sell it to you. Probably, she said like, what, 50 cents? and it was a cigarette dipped in acid. I guess that's something that people used to do back in the day. So he saved it. He actually had it saved at Rick Dalton's house. And he's like, oh, save it here. One day, you know, we'll smoke it. So towards the end of the movie, what is it? That everybody was home. Like everybody was home. Everybody.
Rick's wife
was home. She was sleeping. Rick was in the pool,
listening to music. Yeah, he had a little headphones
on in the pool.
He was chilling in the pool,
floating. And Brad.
All this ruckus happened. Just remind you, he's still in that pool. Okay.
Yeah, Brad or Booth. He is in the. He first he goes to Cliff. Oh, Booth? I thought it was Booth.
Yeah, Booth is his last name.
Oh, Cliff Booth. So Brad is with his dog. He has a dog, beautiful dog, throughout the whole movie. And I guess he's feeding the dog and he's going to smoke the cigarette. He smokes the acid dip cigarette. And then he goes to take his dog for a walk at nighttime. In the middle of him walking his dog, these hippies come back. And they're like on a crusade to like kill people. I guess they have a thing against rich people or Hollywood actors, people, whatever. They were just angry and crazy, and they were on a crusade to kill Rick and all of them.
Yeah, but
so anyways, one of the hippies though ended up dipping on them. It was like what, 4 of them, and one of them said peace. She left.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Which is funny because it's the girl that's in Stranger Things now. She's the girl that plays she works at the ice cream shop.
Oh, that was her?
That's her, yeah. So I can't remember her name right now, but she was in the movie. She's pretty good. She was pretty good. She dipped on them. She was like, oh, I forgot my knife in the car. Can I go get it? And the guy was like, oh, go. You here, have the keys because the car is locked. Oh, she dipped. She bounced on them. But they still were on a crusade that they were going to do this. So this is when all hilarity ensues. Rick is back from the walk. He's tripping on that.
Rick. Yeah.
What is it?
Cliff.
Oh, Cliff. Ha! I keep saying Rick. Cliff.
Booth.
Cliff Booth, whoever, Brad Pitt. He comes back. He's tripping on acid, right? He's chilling. He's dealing with his dog. These hippies come in the house, right? And they're all like very intense, and they're all like, oh.
2 come from the front door, 1 come from the back.
And Cliff is just looking at them like, okay, hi. And then he's like, are you real? And he's like,
because he had the gun out.
And he's like, yeah, I'm real. And he's like, oh, you're real. Like, you're real. So how did he start fighting them though?
When he called the dogs, he said,
oh, yeah. So he was high on acid and he was like tripping. So the hippies thought, oh, it's easy. We're going to get him. So he's like, oh,
no, one of the bitches went to the girl's room to get the other one.
Yeah, to get the girl, to bring the wife. She brought it back. She brought her like to the, not Cliff's wife.
Let me remind you,
Rick is still in the pool, in the floating with the earphone.
Because look, they were pulled up to his house. And he was saying,
beforehand they did. They were listening to music outside really loud, and he was making himself little margaritas.
The muffler was loud.
He was making himself little margaritas. So he comes,
alcoholic.
Yeah, he comes outside, and he sees all these hippies in a car in front of his house, listening to weird music with a muffler loud. So he tells them, get out. Like, he went in on them.
He said, "Feel hippies, bitch."
He said, get out, move. He kicked them out. So they left. Well, they literally parked like on the other side of the road. And then that's when they came back for the revenge. But he was in the pool the whole time. Mind you, everything is breaking loose. And he's just chilling in the pool, right? Brad is tripping. But then he realizes like, oh, this is real. So he, do that again. And the dog starts attacking.
The devil guy.
Yeah, the devil guy. And he like bites his hand. He bites his crotch. Like, the dog went. I love the dog. The dog was like, you know, he did his thing. He protected his owner. And Brad starts fighting the girls. Right? I know he like kills one like savagely.
No, but something happened to one of the girls.
A lot of things happen to them.
Yeah, just something.
Yeah, they thought they were gonna go hurt people.
Yeah, and
they got hurt.
And then the dog bit the other girl, and then it was her arm, and that's how she went to the back to go to the pool.
Yeah, she ran away. She literally ran through the mirror. She runs out of the house, falls in the pool, right?
Yeah, she's screaming, and that's when. That's when he
gets startled in the pool.
He's like, what happened?
He's like, what are these people? What's going on?
No, who's that bitch?
Who's that bitch?
So his ass got I thought he was just dipping. That bitch came back with a flamethrower.
He came back. So earlier in the movie, you see for one of his scenes, he had like a flamethrower and he set like some Nazis, how do you say that? Nazis on fire?
Yeah.
So I guess from the movie he kept the prop, but the prop was real, like it worked, like it was a real thing. So he was dipping out of the pool and you thinking he's running, he's leaving everybody for themselves. He went in the chateau, he got it, he set that bit on fire. So she was crispy on the pool. Then one of the other girls tried to, like, her and Brad Pitt had like a little like back and forth. They fell. He literally had the knife stuck on his hip. Obviously, he didn't feel anything. He was tripping on acid. So he looked at it and he was like, oh. He grabbed her, smashed her face against everything. He literally smashed her face to a pulp till he killed her. The other guy got killed by the dog. They got murdered. They got, like, massacred. But the thing is, you really thought y'all was going to show up to those people's house and y'all were going to kill them in some crazy hippie ritual. It didn't work out for y'all the way y'all thought it was gonna work out for y'all. So it was, even though it was like dramatic and it was gory because there was a lot of like fighting and like killing and whatever, it was funny because they made it funny. It was done in a comedic way. I think that was my whole favorite all scenes of the movie. The whole like last minute when they came to kill them and the whole fights ensured and everything. Funny thing is, at the end, Leonardo, you know, the police come and everything, you know, they take Brad's character to the hospital. Everybody's leaving. Leonardo's just standing there, like, you know, in the driveway. And they're like, are you okay? Is everybody okay? He's like, well, if the fucking hippies ain't okay, that shit for sure didn't work out for them. But I'm good. I'm okay. And Sharon Tate, because throughout the whole movie, when he found out who their neighbors were, he was like, oh, you know, they're my neighbors. I really have an opportunity to meet them. And like, this is the hottest director in Hollywood right now. If anybody can get me a job, it's him. And it's funny because at the end, all the way at the end of the movie, when everything happened, the neighbor comes and he's like, hey, are you guys okay? What happened? And Rick, you know, he's like fangirling a little bit. And he gets to talk to Sharon Tate over the little like speakers that are outside of the houses where people like intercom in and out. And she invited him to go to the house. And he was like over the moon. So mind you, nothing ever happened to him. He was like in the pool the whole time while Brad and his wife were like killing and fighting inside. Then Brad goes to the hospital. Everybody's falling apart. And he ends the night going to Sharon Tate's house to have some drinks. He kind of reminded me of the dog in Crawl. They did nothing, survived everything. From 1 to 10, what would you score?
10.
Okay.
It was a very good movie.
You
Kept
loved
me
it.
on my toes.
You loved it. I would give it a 7.5. Just because I didn't really love the movie. Like, it wasn't something that was my fave. But I love the actors. I love Quentin Tarantino. And I loved those scenes that just really made the movie for me. So I would give it a 7.5. Because it wasn't horrible. But there were a lot of things that for me were missing. I'm not saying it could have been better because I'm not a filmmaker. Who am I to say it could have been better? But just in my opinion as a viewer, like, there were a lot of things there that were missing for me that probably would have made the movie an overall 10. But I would give it a 7.5. Because, you know, the acting was good. Those scenes were funny. The scenes that, you know, like, I can remember right now. Especially the ending. The ending was the best. It was hilarious. Like, it was really, really, really good. I think that's what did it for me. Honestly, the ending did it for me. It was really, really good. So yeah, guys, thank you so much for watching this video along with all the other videos if you've seen them, any of them. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood is out in movies right now. If you guys want to go watch it, that's on you. She loves it. I thought it was okay. She gave it a 10. I gave it a 7.5. Based on that review, you make your own assumptions and you decide whether you want to watch it or not. And if all fails, Leonardo DiCaprio and Brad Pitt. Come on. Guys, come on.
Lego, the legend.
Yeah, it does. So, yes. And together in a movie? They did that. They for sure did that. I don't think they were the issue, but yeah. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you guys liked the video, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Leave all your comments down below. It would mean a lot to me. I like to read them and see what you guys have to say. And see you on the next one. Peace, love, and everything in between.